Hi everyone.
Hi everybody.
Hello guys.
Hi Paolo.
Okay. Is it Wojtek or Wojciech?
Wojtek.
Wojtek.
Wojtek. It's like VOY and then the word tech.
Excellent. Right. Okay. After all this time.
No. You're good. Thank you. Oh, by the way, speaking of names, Sipo, my 2 years old comes every time when I'm punching, doing my punches, right?
Mm-hmm.
So she's asking, Dada's doing punches. And then she sees you on the screen, and then she says, Dada's doing punches with Pancho. So that's your nickname, Pancho. Because it's punches, yeah.
That's great.
She's funny.
Yeah. Fantastic. I love that. Do we have any questions, anybody? Are we okay to go? Right, okay then. Let's I will mute you all then and ready. Yeah, mute. All right, I have a bit of a plan for tonight. Hey, Nabaron's here. Cool. This is actually Nabaron's joining us now, and Wojtek. The reason I asked was because I was saying Wojtek, and then Nabaron said called you Wojciech, and I thought, oh, I wonder if I've been getting it wrong. Nabaron, it's not Wojciech either; it's Wojtek. So we both got it wrong. No, but anyway, fantastic. Okay, so we are great. All muted. All right. The plan. Well, I'll tell you what we're going to do. Ultimately, we're going to do third form. We're going to do. Did you just attack me when I move forwards? That's brilliant. Yeah, we're going to do third form. So I just want to check a few things first. So we'll go through some views. We'll go through some gans, some munsaus, and some elbows, and then we'll put them together in an order that will then create the full Biu Gee, really, third form. So, views, just to check on this, because it's very easily sort of overlooked. The way that we're going to do views is if you put your left hand out in front of you, and of course the palm is facing down, we want the thumb, basically it's the same as a tansao. We've just turned the hand over. So it's not going to be wrapped underneath. It's not going to be sticking out. The fingers are slightly splayed. We don't need to really focus on any kind of conditioning with this, because the idea is that we're not really trying to kind of wedge in there. We're not trying to do any massive damage. The Biu could quite easily just be kind of that of a flick. So that's kind of how we're going to look at this. The journey that the Biu will take from the backhand, there's a couple of ways. We can go straight down. So that's a very, very solid, very defined attack. I'm going to go straight down the middle. If I'm defending, then I'm defending because something is already coming straight down the middle. So something has already taken that center line. So in this case, instead of going straight forwards, I may choose to do a slight angle and come on to the center line, like so. So you can see the difference. This is coming onto the center as opposed to going straight down the center. Whichever one of those you do is fine, doesn't really matter. The key thought that we're going to need on this, though, is that we are taking the Biu from underneath. And it's very easy for people to want to Biu over the top because you've got used to punches and palms. So that's understandable. We then usually will get people doing one of each. So one underneath, one over the top, because there's kind of a lack of consistency really with them. So we'll do a few of these together. So left Biu forwards, your right Biu is level with the elbow and it's just sitting underneath. And as I fire forwards with my left arm or your right hand, we're going to pull this one back. So one from underneath, and we're ready, sitting underneath. Two. So we're always going to keep the fingers facing forwards. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now, a few things. We've got some of you that are kind of considering taking this particular angle. That's okay. However, try not to have it coming out like a fax out. We still want to have this intention, because there's various ways that I might use a Biu. If I'm going to attack with it, boom, straight down. That's fine. Straight down the middle. No problem there. If something is coming in as a, say if you come in with a left straight punch, then I may have to come onto center in order to defend. I might then defend with this, but continue toward my target of the eyes to go forwards. It might be that I go for, you have a left straight punch, I Biu to cover, and then a right hook punch. So then my Biu goes all the way across in order to defend here. So there's various ways that we might use this. So in a very simple way, transition from one to the other. You've got your left hand forwards. I'm doing it mirrored, remember. Paolo, just watch for your thumb there. I can see it just dangling down. So just tuck that in a little bit. There we go. And firing from underneath. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, what we need then is Wojtek, you can allow your elbows to relax out a little bit. You look a little uncomfortable there. And Michael, you look a little bit like you're going really straight forwards there. Allow yourself to keep that bend and the fingers splayed. So from the side, this is the kind of distance I'm looking at. I'm just going to flick. I'm going to flick, 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 this kind of thing. So I don't need to kind of be going all the way out with this. I'm not going to reach, and I'm certainly not going to overcommit. So quite a small move. And again, this is one of those things that we can train in front of a wall, because if you hit the wall, you're probably going to know it, you know. So it's there's a subtle hint there. So Bius will come from underneath, under, under, and under. Now, oh right, okay, yeah. A little reminder. I did the blogs. I think last week there was a couple of video blogs, elbows and hands. It was of when to use the elbow, or when to think of the elbow, when to think of the hand. And in one of those videos, I did a little experiment with one of my students at the class, where when I went to go underneath, I wanted him to grab my front hand. So he was holding onto it with one hand. And as I went underneath, his idea was either to pin this way or to lap this way. So anytime I went underneath, he tried to trap me. He couldn't trap me when I did this properly. And by doing it properly, at the moment, we are thinking of the hand going forwards underneath. So it's going forwards underneath. As I go forwards, I also need to bring backwards. So what we can do to prevent ourselves from ever being pinned and trapped whilst in transit, I'm going to put my thinking onto this one coming away. So I'm going to pull away. I'm going to pull away. So this one is going to pull back, away, and this one is primed. I'm going to think of this one pulling back, away, and away, like so. So when we practice, what I'd like you to do is kind of, if you get an opportunity to watch this back, and then I don't need to kind of keep repeating it. So we are going underneath. However, sometimes there might be a delay and you get trapped. There shouldn't be really. But if we think of this pulling back, then first, so I'm going to think of that pulling back first, and then I'll never get trapped. Of course, I was just checking, having a look. Let me do, Ibrahim, do a couple more. Yeah, that's fine. Just making sure that they were both going from underneath. Of course, we're not actually going to pull back and then go forward. It's the same. It's just one of those things of where do we put our thinking? When we're punching, it's the same principle. We would never punch and then remove, punch and then remove. You would do that together. But we could either think of this one pulling back as that goes forwards, or I can think of this one going forwards as that one comes back. It's going to be the same. So that's going to be your kind of top tip when it comes to Bius. When we use the form Biu Gee, in this case, it's coming from underneath. And this has got a very similar mentality to that, in as far as we don't just push to try and escape this. You know, so I've done, let's say if you do a right punch, you punch with your right hand, and I use a bong sao on the inside. I've done bong cho sao. with your left hand, you can now push. And as you push on the back of my arm, I then need to escape. I need to break off. So this is what Biu Gee is doing. It's teaching us how to recover. But I don't want to put all my, so if you've got, excuse me, if you've got your left hand on my arm, I don't want to try and just and break the grip off. I'm going to be thinking as well of this arm snapping down, pulling away, and getting out of the position at the same time as I'm going forwards. So in the form, we'll see this kind of action. I'm pulling away. So that's why I say that's very similar to how we do the Bius as well. I can think of this one pulling away more so than the one going forwards. Instead of going forwards, more thought, I'm pulling away, means that I will not get trapped. In the form, it will mean I am able to recover. So that's how we use Bius, and that's how we use it in the form. Gans, let's have a few little gans. We're going to just fire through this. So to remind ourselves, we'll have a left tan sao, again reminding myself I'm doing it mirrored. So a left tan sao and a right low bow. And in order to do this change, we're going to bring the low hand up on the inside and we change. Up on the inside and change. And if anyone's not sure of the technique, if I can do a really quick reminder, remember this thing, it's almost like I said of, if you imagine taking an apple out of the barrel, I'm going to bring it up on the inside, take a bite, and then forwards. So from here, I bring up and forwards. That's a nice sort of silly visual. If I want to think of this, bite and out, bite and out. So what I'm trying to do is bring up on the inside. Same technique, I just changed the thinking of it. We know that we're going to go up on the inside, but what I'm going to think of now is keeping this down on the outside, which of course, again, is the same thing. So I'm going to keep the danger away and I can attack up on the inside. Keep the danger away and attack. Down and attack. So if you were trying to grab me, I would press your hand down out of the way and then hit. Press down and hit. What I wouldn't do is bring that in onto myself, in onto myself. So the idea being I keep the threat away and I come up on the inside. So this is how we do our change in gans. Straight up, straight up. Turning with this now to define which one is a gan and a kwun, we're going to turn to the inside. So if I turn to my thumb side, this would be a tan sao and a low bong. And a tan and a low bong together is kwun sao, meaning rotating arms. We're going to turn thinking of chopping on the inside and scooping on the underside, and we turn gan. So there's one gan. Ibrahim, other side, turn the other way. Change your hands from there, Ibrahim. So let's do this again, everyone. So we've got the tan and the low bong. This is excellent, yeah. And then for the first one, we're going to turn this way with the same shape, just turn. Now we can do the other way, Ibrahim. That's the one. No, don't change your hands. So as we come up on the inside, we're turning and we're going to chop. Think of chopping with the inside. That's the one. These are gans. Up on the inside and chop. Up on the inside and chop. And of course, these are wrong. We're massively overcommitting these now. Up on the inside and turn. What we don't do is we don't change and then turn. We want to do this at the same time. So as you're coming up on the inside, we're turning. As you're coming up on the inside, we're turning. And the reason they're wrong is because my hand is way over there and then my hand is way over there. And of course, any turning technique will always be in line with the opposite shoulder. And the reason for this is because if I was punching, the target hasn't moved, I have. I've turned, I've sat down, and I've sat back. So if I was using turning punches, it's almost like I'm turning on a pole here. So my hand would be in the same position for turning punches. That's going to be the same when we use gan. It's almost like I'm going to change up on the inside, and I'm holding a ball that I'm going to rotate around. So we can see almost this kind of shape. So how we achieve that is that while we're changing up on the inside and turning, think of presenting both hands forwards. Up on the inside, turn and forwards. Up on the inside, turn and forwards. So it's the same shape. Ibrahim, you're doing a little bit of a kwun sao there instead. So remember that the contact is turning the other way. So we think of that chopping. That's the one, yeah. So up on the inside and turn. So again, if you can watch this back, that will save me time having to repeat that. So what I've looked at there is the transition, why we come up on the inside or why we go down on the outside, because it's the same thing. I can think of this as in not bringing the threat onto myself. I'm going to keep it away and hit, keep it away and hit. And then when we're turning, of course, what we're looking at really, when I talk about turning on that ball and staying in the same spot, that would be more practical of an application. If something is, let's say you're coming in with a left low punch, if your left arm was coming in as a left low punch, I'd kind of veer that away and I'd be hitting to where you are. So that's the nice acting, Michael. Saw that, the head flying, brilliant. But that position is then not too dissimilar. And you see the target hasn't actually moved. I've moved out of the way here to scoot past and I've hit. However, if this was a roundhouse kick coming in, I'll bring the hands together and I would gladly turn further into that. So, you know, it is possible to corrupt that shape to get the most out of it. Any questions at this point? Anyone? Okay. No, just a load of blank faces. That's great. You can hear me, yeah? Yeah, Wojtek, I don't know if you can hear me then. You looked miles away. All right, now then, the cup jans. Have a little look at the cup jans. Again, if nobody has done cup jan is vertical elbow. That's what that means. Not literally, of course, otherwise it would be coming out of the top of your head, but it means that it's on a downward trajectory. Michael, they're really good, by the way. If you've not done these before, very simple checklist. We'll do this together as well. Let's have a right tan. So I'll do it mirrored again. So you've got a right tan sao. We're going to rotate that to a bong sao. So you see, we know that tan sao and bong sao would have the same 2 points. The point being in center at the wrist. So the wrist would remain in center and it would remain the same distance away from my body. So this is how we get that connection, that marriage between the tan and bong. From there, I'm going to keep the elbow the same place and with the back of my hand, bring that in toward myself, like so. This is pretty much your cup jan position. What we don't need to do in application is try and get that elbow to center. Because if I was trying to get that to center, then what am I going to do? Am I going to kind of just brush across with the tip of the elbow? Or am I going to get to here and then jab you with it? Again, in transition, I would, in reality of using this cup jan, there would have been the contact. And I would continue through to this final position. So the contact is early, continuing through to there. So this is not like the start of the technique. It's going to be the finish of the technique. Again, watch that back if you need to just clarify that once again. Transition then, how do we get into that? What we will do is our backhand position. Let's have a left fist at the side of the body. And we're going to, Paolo, you're enjoying that. I tell you, he's just attacking the screen with elbows. We're going to bring this hand then up to our ear, as though like trying to better understand what someone's saying. From there, the next stage I would say is to bring the back of your, so we're going around our ear, going to bring the back of your hand to your temple. That means we've got this elevation, so the elbow is now high, and then we would allow that to drop onto ourselves. The only reason why we're hitting ourselves in this as well, it doesn't matter. If you're not getting to yourself, it really wouldn't matter. We're getting to our opponent. It just helps us to better understand the feeling of stopping somewhere. So that's what we're looking at. So what we've got, our hands back, and we'll have your left hand up to your ear is 1. Back of the hand to the temple is 2. Drop is 3. In order for that to come back, we're simply just going to pull back. So we're going to look at your right side now. So hand to the ear, back of the hand to the temple, drop in. Now, in order for this to be in transit, we're going to keep that right arm where it is. So keep your right arm there. We'll bring the left hand up, point number 2. So let me see that palm, Paolo, that left palm. There we go. Then the back of the hand. And then as this one drops down, this one pulls back. So we're going to have that motion. So it's 1, 2, 3. The second part of that is a little bit kind of open, obviously, because as I'm bringing one up, I'm going to be going straight through. I'm going to be going straight through. What we've got there. So Ibrahim, if you could unmute yourself, that would be great. I can take your question.
Yes, how are you, Sifu?
Very good, thank you.
If you can show us steps, and do I have to turn a little bit?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, when we're doing this in the form, absolutely, you are quite correct. We will be turning side to side. But what I'm doing at the moment is that okay? Yeah. So I'll just mute you again there. So thank you. So all I'm doing now is in the same way as I showed the positions for the gown, then the change for the gown, then I showed you the turn with the gown. So that's what I'm kind of doing here. I'm showing the position of the kubjan, how we get into the kubjan, and then we'll go into the turn with the kubjan. So yeah, you're quite right. You're jumping ahead of me there. Paolo, do one more and then stop there. Freeze there, please. If you stay there, Paolo, if you can move your right hand away from your body, is that how your bong would be? Yeah, so just make sure. That's why it's a good gauge or a good idea maybe to think of the bong as a bit of a reference, because we can lift a bong and think, I'm okay with that. I feel quite good with that. And then we bring it closer in and that's okay. When we start doing kubjans, we can start getting all twisted and yeah, it's very easy for us to lose sight. So in order for us to not do that, again, same as the gowns, I want you to think of a tan and a low position. Just simply picking up an apple, taking a bite and presenting it forwards. It's childish the way I'm looking at that, but it's really simple to understand. The bong and just collapsing in is really easy to understand. So if we can kind of hold on to those ideas of simplicity, we want to keep it really easy on the eye, and that's going to help you to continue with that. So we'll do this now together. Let's do a couple of these first of all. So what we'll have is hands back. We'll do these without the turn, and then we'll start putting the turn in. So with your right hand, we're going to bring your right hand to your ear. So how simple is that? Back of your hand to your temple. And then we're not going to turn just for a couple of these and then drop in. It does feel a little bit odd. Keep that there as you bring your left hand up. So left hand, back of the hand, change. So keeping square just for this. So to the ear, to the temple, and back. In truth, when we're using this, we're going to bring to the ear, to the temple, and this one is already relaxing down, 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 and then we feel the finish of this. So 3 more like that. So to the ear, as you're lifting to the temple, we start relaxing your left arm, and 3 is the drop in. So 2 more, hand open, temple, you see we're already relaxing, and then drop. And the last one will flow with this. We can bring this up first and then simply just go straight into it. So what we don't want to do, you might well pause at this point. That's absolutely fine for training. No need to pause on the temple contact. So if we're ready here, we'll do these together. So we've already got our right position here, and we'll bring our left hand up. This time we're going to turn. So you're going to be turning to your right side as the left elbow drops in. So we're going to turn and we're aiming over there. So if you had a mirror against that wall, this is where your bong would be facing. Going to bring your right hand up to the ear, back of the hand to the temple, and we're turning all the way around. And now you've got a right bong sao facing toward that wall if it had a mirror on it. So hand up to the ear, And then as you're bringing the hand to the temple, let's begin the turn and drop. Hand up to the ear. As you come up to the temple, we begin the turn and drop. Couple more. Hand up to the ear. Temple, begin the turn. And we drop. Hand up to the ear. Temple, we begin the turn and drop. Now that's for training purposes, and I want to tell you a little bit more of that, just to remind you that because we are looking at third form, and we'll look at just the hand forms now, 1, 2, 3. First form teaches you all about center line and what the center is, and you know, like in the 3 sections, the first section we learn the center, what that is. That's why we go straight into that. We don't scoop across the body. We go sort of straight and direct down it. As soon as we get to it, we go down it. Second section, and we build the energy and the leg strength as well, of course, but we learn to kind of go forwards down this path. Second section of Sulam Tao teaches us all explosive energy, how to use that energy on the end. But all of these are blocks, block, 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 block. All of these are blocks. Then we get to third section, and this all becomes block and counterattack, block and counterattack, block, block, counterattack, and so on. So there we see kind of like the 3 stages of learning any martial art, which I've said several times in the past. We learn the shapes, first section, principles. We learn how to defend using those shapes, second section, explosive energy in all blocks. And then we learn how to block and counterattack, which is what third section is. The second form teaches us then turns and step in and kick in and basically chum Q, how to bridge that gap. So when the first punch actually comes in, how we receive that and what we do with that, and all these elements. We see our kicking and turning, and it gets more animated. We start to move more and more. Biu Gee is all about when we make mistakes and how to recover that and get back to center line, which is the first form. Now, in the first section of the first form, you guys will all remember, I'm sure, because you've all heard this in the past. So this is just mainly a recap for you to know what we're doing in the third form elbows, but also why it's important to keep this back when we're learning our first form. It's not just so it looks tidy. It's not just so it keeps it out of the way, because obviously if this was lazy, and it started to drift around, it would begin to get in the way of the other hand. So keep it out of the way is actually a genuine reason. It allows you to focus on the one side, giving it full little idea. But it's also allowing the shoulder to gain some kind of suppleness, some kind of flexibility, you know, so we get comfortable with that. Then we start to see in Chum Q, we then start to see how we come back to that position here. So now the position we gained comfort with over long periods of training first section of first form, we now get used to coming back to in Chum Q. When we start to use this in our third form, Biu Gee, I'm going to face the other way for this. As I come in with my elbow this way on the forward attack, I need to think of this one coming back here with power. So it comes back with power, with power. To get straight into that without any previous training is very easy for you to then kind of pull a muscle and hurt yourself. So just to check, make sure we don't do that while we go through this form. Take this nice and steady. That's it. Again, you could watch that back, so I don't need to repeat that. What I will say is, I'm going to give you a top tip, and it is, if you could put your fist at the side of the body, all of you, anyone, doesn't really matter. And then what I want you to try and do with this is to just give a little kind of punch of energy. So it's only a very tiny little punch of energy. So that's what we're going with. Same on the other side, just a little punch of energy. In second section of Sulam Tao, we teach ourselves this explosive energy. And this is key, that we try to keep it to the last few inches. So when I'm I'll do it mirrored left hand, it moves down, down, down. You notice I tend to really slow down there. What I don't do is go woo, woo, and because then energy is equal to changing rate of momentum. So if I move quickly and stop quickly, I'm going to feel energy. But that's a very crass way of doing it. I'm not actually teaching myself that boom, that explosive electric shock type energy. So for this reason, and we see this a lot in Biu Gee, I'm going to prepare the left hand slowly down. I'm not going to stop. I'm just going to slow down to emphasize this. I slow down and power, slow down and power. Then I lift up, round, and I get around to here, power. Round to the front, slow, energy, and energy, relaxed, energy. So everything has that short, if you can see this, punch of energy. So a little punch of energy on everything. And little tricks, kind of, not tricks in a bad way. In third section, we see tan, drop down to low gan, scoop up, then Hyun Sao and low palm. Now the application of this, I want to just remind you of something that before Ip Man, we had the packs, then we had the tan drop and to low gan and scoop up, and it finished there on the other side, and then it came out again to the Hyun Sao. Because this was me kind of thinking, the application of this being that if you throw a left punch, there's my tan, a right uppercut, there's my low gan, a left straight punch again, there's my scooping tan. So I'm on the outside. That's where that finishes. The next technique is me using the inside of this position, not scooping with the tan, but the inside. So if this was in Chi Sao, if you were rolling tan and bong, as you come down to your tan, what I would be doing here is pushing down and circling. So from the inside position of my hand, so if you guys do a right tan, just a right tan, from here, I'm going to press down on your tan, pushing your tan down, 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 then the circle, moving it across, and I hit. And that would best work if, so we're rolling in Chi Sao, but we'll just look at this Fox out. So you've got your right tan Sao. If you were pushing against me, then this would best work. So you're pushing forwards. If I press down, move you across, and then hit. So I'm going to use your forward pushing, your forward intention against you. So as that tan is pushing forwards this way, I'm going to allow that down and hit. Notice where my elbow is here. I'm going to leave it in the same position. It drops, same position. What people will sometimes, and incidentally, Ip Man then said, well, hang on. If I come back to this shape to finish and then I start here, why not just continue it straight through? So that was one of the things that he reduced, that he sort of closed down and refined. What people will tend to do is they'll get to here, and in order to generate a lot of power in that low palm, they'll pull their elbow in, boom, and we get the big powerful shot. That's the trick, that's the cheat, because although it will give a big power palm, the palm wouldn't have got there. Because if this person is pushing forward with intention with their tan, and I use this Hyun Sao and pull my elbow to myself, I'm going to be pulling that strike into me. So I need to, in the same way as with the gans, I need to keep the threat away. I need to keep that threat away. I don't bring the threat in. Here, if this is the Fox out, I don't bring that threat in before I then choose to go out. So this is one of those techniques where, again, first section of Sulam Tao, we did the energy. Second section, we learn how to use that explosive energy. In third section, we'll use that in application to block and counter, or a combination of the two, elbow energy and explosive energy. People think like that as well. So if I do this properly, the tan, drop and scoop, I circle round and hit. I don't pull my elbow in. I want you to keep that same thinking when we do the form, in that I don't want the energy that comes backwards to only be there because it followed such a long journey on its route back, to get the best out of yourself and to do this form properly. When we just train that from here, bang, that little punch of energy, that's how I want to be thinking. And that's the reason why I like to slow it down. So using my right arm now, as I prepare my left to go forward, my right arm will come back, but still I'll wait until I'm there. I'll wait, bang, and there's the power. Wait, bang, and there's the power. So allowing yourself the truth that you explode that power on the end and haven't only acquired it by thrusting in. Great. We all good with that? Fantastic. I'm trying to cram loads in with this just for now. Munshaus. Really simple. Munsau, it's like a faxau. Strikes with the blade, but instead of being horizontal, it goes vertical, it swings upwards. So the position that we want with this is your hand and your shoulder are the same, and your elbow is going to be just above. So it's a little bit of an arc. And if that feels like it's kind of moved forwards a little bit and not completely to the side, that's fine. All right, trying to do this exactly at the side would be not very comfortable at all. So allow yourself that freedom. It's the same principle as faxaus would be in front of us. That's the same that we have with the Munshaus. All right, and you're all looking like giant crazy crabs at the moment. So what we've got then is we're going to swing to our left. So your left arm Munsau and your right guard, and we don't turn with this as well, by the way. And your right hand, your right guard is level with your shoulder. It doesn't want to be facing toward you this way. It doesn't need to be facing out. It's just relaxed. It's comfortable. You'll find it's probably about 45 degrees. Now from here, we're going to allow the arms to relax, to swing and lift. So I'm going to keep this very simple. So we'll swing and lift. Now your thinking on a faxau is the kind of whip of the hand. The thinking on Munsau is actually a big move coming from your shoulder and your back. And it's kind of very un-Wing Chun. So I want you to think of this almost like this is very heavy, and then somebody has just cut the wires and it swings, and think of the elbow being the lift. So I'm going to lift from my elbow. So that's why we want to keep that bend. And we need to look where the Munsau is going to finish. And that's the key word, where it's going to finish. So if you watch, I'm going to do 2 of these, and you guys watch me if you will. What I need to do is let the Munsau set off. You see where I'm still looking? Now I'm going to look ahead of it to where it lands. I'm going to set the Munsau off first, then I will look across to where it lands. This is the top tip. Drop and look. Because if I look first, as I turn, I'm going to tighten my shoulder, and this is going to be more like a faxau. It's not going to have any power. So allow the swing. Look at my shoulders. Drop and lift. Drop and lift. If I look, I'll engage the shoulder too early. So that's the tip. Now you might be thinking, well, why are you going to attack before you've looked? What's that about? This is what we use when we're training our Biu Gee, when we're punching forwards and backwards and we're stepping, and then I say, okay, turn. When we turn, we don't just turn, boom, you might get hit. So we turn, leading with the elbow in a big swinging Munsau to clear anything that might be on its way in. Then I settle. So I'm going to turn, elbow and back, elbow and back. And you notice, if you can look where my focus is, so I begin the swing, but I look. So I don't swing blindly and put my hand through a window or hit an old lady or something. I need to turn and make sure that I see where that strike is a continuation of. And if I do this toward you guys, so when I turn, I'm going to turn and through. Watch the path my elbow will take. It does like a 45 clearance across the body. So I'm going to turn here and then down. Here and down, here and down. So that's how we use it when we turn. As I said, Munsau, you could be forgiven for thinking that doesn't really seem very Wing Chunish, really, to me, if there is such a phrase. Right, okay. 45 minutes there, explaining all the pieces that we have in our Biu Gee. Now, let's do Biu Gee. I'm going to remind you just quickly on this, when we start, it's going to be different footwork. We're going to use the Hyunma, not the normal stance, not the normal opening, which you'll see at the time. You know that already, of course, everyone here. When we do the punch is going to open upwards first, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then I will level, circle, and to center, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You could do these as 7s or 9s, but if you choose to do it on one of them, you do it on all of them. So again, I'll punch and then open. So the nice little reminder is, if I exaggerated a punch, where would I punch? I'd have this action. So that's why upwards for the first. 2, 3, 4, 5. Level, circle, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It absolutely does not matter. So, you know, if anybody watches this on catch up who's done Biu Gee before and thinks, well, that's not how I do it, and, you know, I've never heard it have any specifics. The only reason is that if we then do something and we're doing it together, at least it keeps us together, it keeps us in time. So you don't need to be too overly direct on that. Michael, I was just watching your Munsos then. They're okay. Well done. All right, let's do this. Any questions before we go ahead? No, Nabarun, love that shirt, by the way. Very good. Okay. How are we looking? Right. We're having a mini heat wave here at the moment, so it's kind of in the 30s. So so I got that fan there. Anyway, it's not working. Can you see me all right? I'm gonna move quite far back so you can see the footwork as well. Oh gosh, not learning how to do this. All right. So I'll try that. I'm doing it mirrored. So this is your left. So right fist in left hand. Bow is the same. Bend your knees. And then you're going to have your left foot first. We'll circle. Got you out there, Wojtek. And your right foot circle. So this is us now in our stance. Check center, left on top. Same as the other two hand forms. Left fist ready. Punch. But remember from there, we now open, pointed up. 2, 3, 4, 5. Level. Bend, circle all the way around to center. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Level, circle, and close. Right fist ready. Punch. And open up. 2, 3, 4, 5. Level. Bend the wrist and circle round to center. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Level, circle, and close. Okay, so you're gonna go. Try again. You're gonna go to your left. I'm doing it mirrored, so I'm trying to remember. So prepare your right hand. So remember we have the hand position, back of the hand to the temple, and we turn, dropping in with number 1. And remember that back elbow position, it just gave that little punch. Now we're going to do 3 of these. So left hand ready, and we're going to turn now to your right side for your second one. Right hand ready. Wojtek, I think if you stay there, you'll be fine. And we're going to turn 3. So Wojtek, just change your arm. So you want your right elbow, your right. No, you're correct. Turn to your left, but it's a right elbow. That's the one. So from here, everyone, we've got left hand underneath, ready with the Biu. And as we Biu with the left hand, you're going to pull the right elbow back. So this is like opening up. From there, right Biu sitting underneath, and we're going to step up, feet together, double Biu. Level, circle, and back. To square up, the nearest foot to the screen, this is the one we're going to move first. So your right foot will circle, and the left will circle. So now we have to repeat that the other side. So we look to your right, and we prepare this left hand. Back of the hand to the temple as we turn 1. Ready, hand up to the ear, and we turn 2. Hand up to the ear, and we turn 3. So now you're facing to your right with your left elbow. right hand underneath, ready with the Biu. And as we Biu with the right hand, we're going to pull this left elbow back so we kind of have the feeling of open up. Excellent. Left hand under, and we're going to step up, feet together, double Biu. Level, circle, and back. So again, nearest leg, in this case it's your left, circle, and circle. And we're going to do exactly the same again, but instead of 3 elbows, it's just the 1. So look to your right, prepare the left, and toe of the elbow. Oh, Wotek, you've done that again, just stand square. So we're going to go that way to your left side, but bring your right hand to your ear. There you go, and we're in. So left hand underneath, and when we Biu, we open up. Place underneath, step up, double Biu, level, circle, and back. Nearest leg first, second one to follow. So other side same, we look to our right and prepare that left hand and toe. Right Biu sitting underneath, and as we Biu, we open up. Underneath ready, step up, level, circle, and back. Nearest leg. 1, 2. Again, we look to our right, our left, and we prepare our right hand and elbow. Biu underneath and open up. Now this time, instead of the Biu, we're going to use our right hand here to do a high side palm as this Biu pulls back. So together. Then we're going to square our feet, but we're going to be looking to our right with a right munsao. So remember, we don't look first. Let's let this munsao begin to drop and then look where it's going to go, but without turning. Keep your feet straight. Then we look forward toward the screen again and drop in. And we close just like we do in our second form in Chung Piu. So now we look to our right, prepare our left hand, and same again with elbow, ready with the Biu underneath, and we open up, and it's going to be a left high palm as the Biu pulls back. Set the munsao off first, so that drops, and square in our stance. So our feet and our body is facing there, our focus is facing over here. Now I'm going to look to the screen and drop into center. So Ibrahim, go back to here, let your hand lift and drop. Place and slide. Excellent. Same again. So we look to our left and prepare our right. We turn with the elbow. Biu ready underneath. And as we Biu, we open up. But this time it's a right low side palm as we pull back. And the same rules apply. Set the munsao off and then look where it's going to land. So your eyes get there before the munsao does. Drop, place and slide. And look to your right, prepare the left. Elbow, underneath ready with the Biu. And when we Biu, we open up. This time it's a left low palm. Now remember guys, we're going to let this start swinging and then square up in our stance. Lift and drop. Excellent. Place and slide. First and second form have 3 sections. When it comes to Biu Gee, we tend to consider this as the elbows and the rest. So that's effectively half of your form. Stay there, please, if you will. Yep, this is great. We're going to go right through this now then. So we're going to do the other half as well. And then you can watch this back and play along. So, gans. So we're going to do a left gan. So that means you're bringing out your right hand and turn to your left. There's 1. Up on the inside as we turn 2. Up on the inside as we turn 3. From there, your high hand is just going to pull back and your low hand circles and drop into center. Place and slide. 3 gowns now, going to the right side first. So 1, up on the inside as we turn 2, 3. The right hand will simply just come straight back and, oh, sorry, my right. Your high hand will come straight back and the low hand will circle and drop. Place and slide. That's it. So the gowns. Next, Munsaus. So we are going to lower our arms slowly and look to your left. Left Munsau. Remember, we're not turning with these. So that's 1. Swing. 2. Swing and look. 3. From there, your guard hand will pull straight back and your Munsau again will lift and drop. However, from here, so Ibrahim, that's it. We'll now change to fox out. Turn, circle the hand and back to jump to center. Fox out number 2. Turn, circle and back. Very similar to the changes in Sulam Tao. This, we've just added a turn to it. Fox out number 3. Turn, Hyun Sao and level. At that point, we place, slide and close. Lowering our arms slowly, we look to our right and our right lifting Munsau. 1. Swing first and look where it lands. 2. Swing. 3. So again, now the guard will simply pull back and the Munsau will lift and drop. But we have to continue with this. So fox out, turn, circle and center. Fox out number 2, turn, Hyun Sao, jump. Fox out number 3, turn, Hyun Sao, jump. Place and slide. From there, left hand into center, close to you. I'm just going to turn so you can see where this is. So it's quite close to me. And then from there, you're going to Biu out. Place in your right hand underneath. We're going to do 3 Bius and then pulling back on the last one. So watch what I do here. You're going to go 1, 2, 3. That's it. And now we're going to turn to your left, turning the hand over. So you strike with the blade. This is called Jeng Sao. Jeng Sao is spade hand. From there, let this swing and the Munsau will square us back up. So make sure your feet are straight there, Wojtek. You don't want to turn. And then drop, place and slide. Right Biu ready. Strike. Left Biu sitting underneath. And again, 3 rapid, pulling back on the last one. 1, 2, 3. Well, there you go, now, Varun, that's it. And we're going to turn to your right, turning the hand over and striking. From there, let this swing down and feet straight. So you're looking to the side. That's it, Wojtek, very good. And then look forward as we drop in, place and slide. Next, elbows tucked in and show me your hands. A little bit like the Chum Cube beginning, but we're going to reach out and grab. From there, keep your arms extended and turn to your left. From there, your right arm is going to pull back and your left hand is almost kind of going to do like an uppercut underneath it. So I'm going to go under and then pull back. This is like the end of Sulam Tao now, because from here, we're going to open, Tok Sao, level, lift, and circle. So the other side, see the palms, grab, keep your arms extended as you turn to your right. The right hand is going to come underneath as like an uppercut as we square up, pulling that left arm back. open, palm, level, and back. That was it. That's it, Ibrahim. Good, 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 good. From there, let your arms relax. And we're going to swing our arms back. If you don't have a lot of room, just keep your arms bent. That's the thing. So we're circling back. 1, 2, 3. We swing forwards. 1, 2, 3. We press down. 1, 2, 3. And we swing back to a right guard. The right hand forwards. And 5 punches to finish. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Pulling back. Open. Wojtek, just get your other hand, right hand back, and your left hand is out. That's it, and we circle. So it's the same punches like we finished on Chum-Kyu, basically. Left leg to right. And that is the entire Biu Gee, entire third form, and lots of tips. If I can give you a couple more little pointers, just while I'm able to remember on this. When we do the elbows, I want you to remember that we've actually got 3 directions going on here. We've got the elbow striking that way. We've got the elbow striking that way. And we've got the knee striking that way. So when I turn, I don't want to let my hips come around, because then that's not going to be correct. So as I turn, I've got an elbow coming back, I've got an elbow going through, and this knee is going to hit out. So here, here. So that's kind of the 3 different directions. It's no different how you do your normal turning stance. It's just don't allow yourself to get pulled into something silly. The next thing I will say is, and this is important, this is what we see in Chum-Kyu as well, but I never seem to get the time to explain this. So I want to give you this as an important bullet point. When we are in Chum-Kyu and when we're stepping with the Dai Bongs, look at my front foot. When I start to step up, my foot's turned in. So I can't really kind of step up there properly. So what I need to do is move the toe across a little bit. I need to move to provide the space. That's the same when we're doing Biu Gee. So when I get to this point here where I'm going to do underneath, Biu, place, what I need to do is just allow that toe to move across a little bit before I step up. So it's a tiny little detail, but it is important, because otherwise you're going to be kind of, the toes turned in, you're stepping up and you're going to feel very uncomfortable. So allow the foot to move out as you step up. And the third thing I'll give you on this is the Jengsaos. Jengsao being spade hand. Very, very effective and very good technique. We know about Faksaos on the outside, but this is a Faksao on the inside. So let's say if somebody came in with a hook punch, if you come in with a right hook punch, let's say, and I've blocked here, when you come in with another hook punch and I turn, this hand will strike on the inside of the neck. So really dangerous. When I apply this, so I'll do the form, left hand ready, out, place, 1, 2, 3, turn Jeng, swing, and back. I'll do the other side, just watch, place, out, 1, 2, 3, Jeng, swing. You notice the swing before I look, and my feet will just be square and in. What I don't do with the Jeng, when I get to the views and turn here, is I'll do it this way. This is another one of those tricks, the cheat, like Sulam Tao, where people pull the elbow in to generate thrust, where people use the momentum to generate the rear power. We don't want to do that. What we need to make sure is, when we've done the last Biu, and I turn with Jeng, I need to keep my arms straight. Don't pull this in and then strike out. If you are doing that, it's almost like I'm going to just keep my arms straight and then turn, 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 turn here. And you'll feel like, where the heck is the power in that? There will be a want to generate this. Don't do it. Just go for the turn and the twist. And that's the key bit with that. Guys, thank you. I wanted to approach this for weeks. I'm shattered. I'm going to have a cup of tea now.
One thing, Sifu.
Yeah, go ahead. Thank you.
Thank you very much for this. It's fantastic. I think it's such a good thing. I'm delighted I'm here. Just one thing is that when the futsal, when you turn, I know we've talked about another thing. Does it stay very tight and move like this, or does it lift a little bit? Because you have told me off before, so I'm just.
Yeah, no. This is great. Are you referring to the one with the Munsaus?
No, when the futsal, and then you turn. Do you lift or just stay very tight when you move back to the?
In which form? In this form, Biu Gee?
In this form, yes.
Okay, because when we
the
see
end.
it, well, let me show you, because you were just turning the wrong way there. That's why.
Okay.
So that's connected with the Munsaus.
Yeah.
So we have the Gans, then we have the Munsau. 1, 2, 3, and I drop in. Then from here, my Foxhound, I go to Foxhound. I'm actually being pushed out. So it's not going in.
Oh, sorry.
I'm gonna think. So if you stand square with me, and you've got a left fox out, that's fine. So think of turning. If you've got a left fox out, turn to your left. And then all we're gonna do is circle the hand as the fingers are lifting. Drop. So the wrist does lift a little bit and drops a little bit. Now let's say if you just do Sulam Tau. Let me see a right fox out, because I see you've got a watch on there. So from here, how would you change from Futsal in Sulam Tau? You move out, and then we circle the hand round. As the fingers are lifting, we give that little press of the wrist. Perfect. Again, Futsal. So we circle. As the fingers lift, a little press of the wrist. Futsal again. This time we're going to add this to Biu Gee. So now, Nabarun, you've got a right Futsal. Just turn to your right. So what we've got now is begin the circle of the fingers, start squaring up to the screen, and press the wrist in. So it's exactly what you do in your Sulam Tau. All we've done now is shown that, and the idea of this is that everything in Biu Gee is exaggerated. It's 50% bigger because it's like, you have really messed up, my friend. So that's why we need to get back to center. And what we're showing here is that at this point, if you push me out a little bit, that's all right, I can recover. But this is like somebody in Tansao, whoa, they push you right out, whoa, here. They're about to hit, so now we need to recover. So I'm pushed out, as they're about to hit, I'm going to recover. So that's what we're showing. And as you know, like in Dan Chi Sao and so on, this is just how it would be in Sulam Tau. So we can use it, Sulam Tau, for the continuing energy, forward and back. We can use it in Dan Chi Sao as a way of jamming the palm, and we can use it as a recovery, as a big overcommitment in our Biu Gee. Ibrahim, did you have a question? No, we're okay. Guys, thank you so much, everybody. Wojtek, did you have anything? No, brilliant. You're going to need to watch this one again and again, but I think I'll keep this session because it will be worth revisiting at some point. Guys, thank you so much. Keep practicing, and I'll see you next week for some more of this.
Thank you.